With Demon Slayer being one of the biggest anime currently airing its second season, we figured it would be a good time to take a look back at how we got where we are by summarizing the timeline of the first season. There will be spoilers ahead, and we will try to work in chronological order, but there isn't too much lore to cover here. With that out of the way, I'm Adrian, and this is the timeline of Demon Slayer so far. The first bit of housekeeping we do need to mention is that we're going to be mostly focusing on anime here, and not so much the manga, but we will be breaking down the video by relevant story arcs. Alright, so let's get going. Final Selection Arc. The main event worth noting that happened before we joined the show proper is the death of Tanjiro Kamado, father of main character Tanjiro Kamado. This left Mother Kie and her 6 children in something of a poor state financially, and even though they're getting by, it's only just. Tanjiro comes home with his modest job selling coal only to find his entire family slaughtered, with the exception of his younger sister Nezuko. She's still alive, but unbeknownst to him, has been turned into a demon. He tries taking her to a doctor, but finds his path blocked by Giyu Tomioka, who attempts to kill Nezuko in the only way known to kill a demon, cutting their head off. Tanjiro tries to reason with him, but to no avail. After Giyu stabs Nezuko, Tanjiro attacks the Demon Slayer, though is knocked unconscious. Nezuko is almost captured, but seeing Tanjiro's unconscious body leads her to breaking free from Giyu's grasp to protect her brother. This surprises the Demon Slayer so much that instead of killing her, he knocks her unconscious. After Tanjiro wakes up, Giyu tells him to seek out a man called Sakonji Urokodaki, and that he was the one who sent them. He also warns him to never expose Nezuko to sunlight, since that would burn her, and after that, he vanishes. Tanjiro and Nezuko bury their family, and after that, are on their way. When they arrive at Mount Sagiri, Tanjiro smells blood in a temple, and upon bursting in, they find a demon feeding on several humans. The demon attacks Tanjiro, and Nezuko hesitates for a bit, considering whether or not to eat from the deceased humans. She ultimately saves her brother by decapitating the demon with a single kick to the head. However, since the demon wasn't hit by Nichiren, a specially forged katana with a blade that can absorb sunlight to kill the demons, both the head and the body survive. The head attacks Tanjiro while the body fights Nezuko. He manages to push the body off the cliff, and the whole battle is observed by none other than Sakonji Urokodaki, the man they came here to find in the first place. He thinks that Tanjiro's hesitation to kill the demon makes him weak, and he doesn't see why Giyu sent him here. Urokodaki decides to test Tanjiro instead, which the latter passes, and because of that is accepted as Urokodaki's student to become a member of the Demon Slayer Corps. We jump forward in time about 6 months, in which Tanjiro learns the water-style swordsmanship. Nezuko has fallen into a deep sleep, though Tanjiro doesn't know why, as nothing seems to be physically wrong with her. After those 6 months of training, Urokodaki leads his student to a boulder and tells him to slice it in half. If he does so, he'll be allowed to enter the final selection, the last step before becoming an official member of the Demon Slaying Corps. And with that, Urokodaki leaves. Tanjiro tries but fails continuously to put so much as a dent in the rock, until a masked man named Sabito shows up and proceeds to repeatedly humiliate Tanjiro in combat. Even though he only has a wooden sword while Tanjiro has a real one. A girl in a smaller fox mask named Makomo appears and offers to train Tanjiro more. After another 6 months of this, Sabito returns, this time with a real sword, and now Tanjiro finally beats him by slicing his mask in half. However, Sabito then vanishes, only to reveal that Tanjiro finally cut the boulder in half. Tanjiro leaves Nezuko with Urokodaki to embark upon the final selection to join the Demon Slaying Corps. He's given a mask to protect him and a Nichiren of his own, and soon is forced to use it after getting ambushed by demons, demonstrating his mastered skills. It's revealed, however, that one of the demons that attacks Tanjiro killed 14 of Urokodaki's students, including Sabito and Makomo. Their ghosts are sitting on the boulder Tanjiro cut, wondering aloud if he can beat the demon who killed them. Using one of his water-breathing techniques, he manages to cut the demon's head off successfully, killing him properly. This frees the souls of Urokodaki's students, and they depart for the afterlife. During the trials of the final selection, Tanjiro repeatedly asks the demon if they know how to cure Nezuko, but he never gets an answer. When it's all over, 4 swordsmen are left standing. They return to receive their uniforms and their ranks, making Tanjiro officially a demon hunter. They also receive a Kasugai crow, who can talk and deliver messages for them. They have to wait for their own custom-made swords though, so Tanjiro returns to Urokodaki, where it turns out Nezuko has woken up. Urokodaki theorizes that rather than eating humans, she regains her strength by sleeping. When the smith arrives 2 weeks later with his sword, it changes to black, a rare color. Shortly after, a crow flies in, giving Tanjiro his first assignment, to venture to a town northwest where young girls are being abducted and kill the demon. First mission arc. Taking Nezuko with him, Tanjiro goes to the village and manages to track the demon with his enhanced sense of smell. While there, he runs into a villager whose fiancée was abducted by the demon and was already dead at this point. But he finds himself in time to save another girl, even though he needed Nezuko's help to defeat this blood demon. Back at Mount Sagiri, Urokodaki tells Tanjiro that he found something that may help Nezuko, the name of the demon who turned her, as there's only one demon left alive who can, namely Muzan Kibutsuji. Asakusa Arc. Tanjiro receives another crow, this one telling him to go to Tokyo. He's initially hesitant but goes anyway and soon catches the scent of Kibutsuji. He's briefly hesitant because of Kibutsuji's family, as the demon is pretending to be a normal human. However, he notices Tanjiro and quickly draws a little blood to turn a random passerby into a demon, keeping Tanjiro busy while he makes his escape. The police arrive and try to detain Tanjiro, but he's saved by the demon named Tamayo, after she sees that he wasn't trying to kill the demon Muzan just created. She uses her blood demon arts to blind the nearby police officers, buying them enough time to escape. After this, Tamayo reveals to him that she's a doctor and is also out to kill Muzan. She also tells Tanjiro that she turned her companion Yushido into a demon, though with his consent, and worked out a way to break Muzan's curse so that she doesn't need human flesh for sustenance. She's interested in Nezuko though, as she hasn't come across her ability to sleep off her hunger before. Muzan sent 2 demons after Tanjiro though, and they track him to Tamayo's house, which the 4 of them manage to fight off. Partially because of Tanjiro's training, and partially because of Tamayo's blood demon arts, tricking the attacker to say Muzan's name, which demons can't do as there's a curse resting on it. As it turns out, Nezuko thinks Tamayo and Yushido are humans, and considers them family now. However, they're still forced to split up, with Tanjiro receiving a message that he needs to head southeast, and Tamayo and Yushido because they no longer think it's safe to live in such close proximity to Muzan. Tsuzumi Mansion Arc. Tanjiro spots one of the other 3 demon slayers he made it through final selection with, Zenitsu Agatsuma, who was forced to become a demon slayer to relieve a debt, but isn't very good at it. They come across 2 siblings who lead them to a house where their older brother had been abducted to. Inside, they find another demon slayer, Inosuke, and can help Tanjiro. The demon can manipulate the layout of a house at will, making it much more difficult for Tanjiro to get a solid hold on him, especially since he's still injured from his fight in Tokyo. Still, after besting the demon, Tanjiro takes pity on him and praises his skill at the blood demon arts. Back outside, Tanjiro finds Inosuke fighting Zenitsu. Since the latter was protecting the basket Tanjiro carries Nezuko around in, Inosuke correctly assumes there was a demon inside of it, though he didn't know the specifics. Tanjiro has to tackle and injure Inosuke, but since demon slayers are forbidden from drawing their swords on each other, they have to duke it out the old-fashioned way. Tanjiro wins and convinces Inosuke to let the issue rest, for now. Zenitsu, upon seeing Nezuko, is instantly smitten with her. Natagumo Mountain Arc. Receiving another message from a Kasugai crow, they head out to Mount Natagumo, where they find a set of wounded demon slayers who claim that they suddenly started killing each other. Turns out they're being controlled by a spider demon like some kind of morbid puppeteer act, and Inosuke uses his beast breathing to figure out where they're being controlled from. Tanjiro and Inosuke do manage to track down the spider demon mother, and have to put aside their differences to fight the controlled demon slayers together. They manage to overpower the mother, and in exchange for granting her a swift death, she warns Tanjiro about one of the 12 Kizuki, the direct subordinates of Muzan, being somewhere on the mountain. This Kizuki, named Rui, is the one who controls everyone there, including the spider demons. Zenitsu, meanwhile, has to fight his own gaggle of spiders, but because of his cowardly nature, fails and gets bitten, with only a short while left before he turns into a spider himself. Inosuke and Tanjiro split up, with the former going after the spider demons and Tanjiro going to help Zenitsu. But instead, he comes across the spider demon father. Fortunately, help arrives in the form of Giyu Tomioka, who helps Inosuke and Tanjiro defeat the father. Rui catches up and attacks Tanjiro, but is saved by Nezuko. Rui is shocked to see a demon throwing themselves in front of a human, even if said human is family. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the mountain, another demon slayer named Shinobu catches up with Zenitsu and manages to heal him of the poison. With great difficulty, Tanjiro and Nezuko manage to beat Rui, though they're both badly wounded in the process. Rui regenerates, but they're saved just in the nick of time by Giyu. Giyu recognizes the pair from their meeting 2 years ago, and actually helps Tanjiro protect Nezuko from Shinobu, who has caught up with them as well. Before they can run though, more demon slayers arrive and they capture the pair alive. Rehabilitation Training Arc. Tanjiro is brought before the Hashira, the 9 most powerful demon slayers, who want to put him on trial for traveling with a demon, even if she's his sister. Tanjiro has to physically stop them from killing Nezuko, and does so with a distraction from Giyu, the master of the demon slayer corps, Kaguya Ubayashiki, puts a stop to the fight and holds a letter that Urokodaki wrote him earlier, detailing Nezuko's situation and that she has never harmed a human. The Hashira are not impressed though, so the master vows that he, Tanjiro, and Giyu will all commit seppuku if Nezuko does harm a human. The Hashira only warm up to Tanjiro though when it's revealed that he's seen Muzan, which ordinarily no demon slayer ever survives. But it's still not enough, as one of the Hashira cuts himself to draw blood in an attempt to tempt Nezuko to attack him. Tanjiro has to stop him again, but since Nezuko recognizes her brother, this finally is enough to put an end to the back and forth. The master declares that Tanjiro and Nezuko will go to hunt down Muzan and in passing mentions Tamayo, letting Tanjiro know that he already knew good demons existed as well. After this, Tanjiro is taken to the infirmary, where he finds Zenitsu and Inosuke, both having survived their ordeals with the spider demons, if only just. 2 weeks later, they start the rehabilitation training under two girls named Kanao and Aoi, but it's brutal. Tanjiro and Inosuke begin first, since they were less severely injured than Zenitsu, who joins them a little later. The training ultimately gets to the point that Zenitsu and Inosuke have to give up, but Tanjiro gets a tip from the Kocho sisters about a special breathing technique which he does use in combat, but Kanao uses it all the time, and that's how he's able to beat them. A few more weeks pass while Tanjiro practices this and his sword skills, and eventually Shinobu opens up to him as well, telling the story of how her older sister hoped that one day humans and demons can live together peacefully, until she was killed by a demon herself. Now seeing how Tanjiro and Nezuko live together, Shinobu grows more hopeful that it's possible. Eventually, Zenitsu and Inosuke catch on that Tanjiro is pulling out a lead on them in his skills, and Shinobu informs them of how he did it, encouraging them to do the same thing, both needing their own persuasion. Meanwhile, the swordsmiths arrive, who are not pleased that both Tanjiro and Inosuke managed to break their Nichirin, yet they do reforge them. After finally beating Kanao in training, Tanjiro is declared fit again, and sent out on assignment again. While all that was going on, Muzan summoned the 5 least powerful of his Kizuki to him, and wonders aloud why they're too weak to deal with the demon slayers. To set an example, he kills 4 of them, uses their blood to empower the last one, and sends him to kill Tanjiro. This was the demon who killed the people on the Infinity Train, which is Tanjiro's newest assignment. Before leaving, he says his goodbyes to Kanao and Aoi, thanking them for training him, and also to Giyu for saving his life. Giyu waves off, telling him to show his gratitude by killing demons instead, which Tanjiro promises to do. Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke make it to the train and jump on, ready for the fight ahead. And that's it, the summary of the first season of Demon Slayer. Again, we had to leave out a lot for the sake of time, but now you're caught up and ready to begin the second season. Are you enjoying it so far? Did you check out the movie instead of watching the second season? Be sure to let us know in the comments below, and while you're there, hit the subscribe button, which is a great help to us. I'm Adrian, thanks for watching, and remember, Frederator loves you.